Welcome, Abigail from Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome, 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 welcome. So, I'm going to introduce myself and then I would introduce my guest. I am Ibukun. I'm the student with the healthy long hair. I live in New York and I also school in New York. And if you glance through my page, you see that there are certain things that I talk about more often than others. But majorly, I talk about hair care, I talk about being a student, and I talk about fashion and every other thing. When it comes to talking about student, I have had a few experiences with different countries and their schooling experience, and I see how they are very different. But coming into America, it has showed me how just being a student for the grades is not enough. It's good because I mean that's what you get, that's what you're paying for, but you're not experiencing the full package of what being a student entails outside of the classroom. So if you stick to just being in the classroom and getting by in the class, you are just getting a fraction of what you should get in the class. And after I saw that, I decided to, take matters up in my hands and share more about it online and how students can position themselves. That is how we are going to leave this introduction to because that's what it's all about. I'm not going to talk about the hecky aspects. If you go to my page, you see what that's about. And then before I read my guest bio, can you give us a brief introduction about who you are and why exactly are you here today?
Hmm. Well, interesting. I hope I don't take all the time, but welcome everyone. Welcome Abigail. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And of course, thank you so much, Ibukun Ade, Di Oluwa, Ibukun Oluwa. Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I am Rosalind Beyond Borders, as you can see from my name already, right? And the name actually depicts a lot of things. Um, I am a four-time funded scholar. I've studied at my had
Okay.
my master's in master diploma first fully funded in Italy. That's in Europe, and then later on, of course, also studying MSc now because master diploma is for 6 months, and then the MSc as well. I got regional funding for it, and also Erasmus exchange funding to also have my one scholarship in one semester rather in Greece in Athens. Um, then I'm also now on my fourth one, which is a postgraduate in Berlin, also fully funded for. And but it wasn't always like this, right? I
Mm.
had a very rough patch, for 2 consecutive years. I was applying and applying, and rejection back to back, like it was breakfast. And no, like seriously, it was when I started first year, and I was applying to, there is hardly a scholarship you mentioned that I would say in different countries, whether it is US, Canada, UK, and a lot of scholarship in Europe, even ones that I can call now that you might not have heard of before. I applied to them and I got rejection from them. So I have seen both end, right? And so those are some of the things that made me to start saying, oh, let me start sharing my my journey and then start sharing opportunities for people to make the journey, because I know that many people actually dream of say, oh, I want to study abroad, I want more opportunities, right? So I started, and later on during my journey on YouTube, I have a YouTube channel where I just share opportunities, how to apply for them, where they see them, different kinds, right? The YouTube channel is also the same name, Rosen Beyond Borders. And it was during those times that people now start saying, okay, how do I apply? How do I apply? And then I now saw the gap that, okay, to really position and not have to go through that long journey like mine, there are some things that you have to put in place, that you have to do. And one of it is actually what we'll be talking about today. right? So without, don't let me take all the time. You said I should just mention some, so let me give it back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think
You're
even
welcome.
myself, I'm just hearing a few things. For me, I haven't I just started out in the world of applying for scholarship and things like that. And unlike you that you've been, please can you clarify when did all of this started? What year did it start? Did you start
Hmm.
applying and how long did it take you? What year did you now start getting the applications?
All
The
right.
approved for the applications?
Yeah, yeah. So it start. I was done with my man. I was done with BSc. Actually, I went to the University of Ibadan, the first and the best. So anybody can argue with their keyboard, but I'm not here for that today. Anyway, so I was done in UI 2019. And then it was immediately I was in service as well. So 2019, the later part of 2019 and 2020, I was in service. And I had the mindset of just of going for MBA, right? Of course, also fully
Mm-hmm.
funded. I had that mindset before that, okay, if I will ever do any masters at all, right, it will be funded and it will be outside of the country. I don't know why, but I just had it. And so after that time, uh, I was just focused about number one, improving my portfolio. So I am also a chartered accountant, and during those time was when I got my certification with ICANN. That's
Okay.
what one of those that I was able to use NYC to do again. And then afterwards, I got a job. So it was now between those, that's when I got an advice that before you go for MBA, right? Don't you get your MSc rather? Because if you want to say you want to get MBA after, you can, and if you decide that it is PhD, you can. So why not get something that gives you both leverage and you know options? So I said no problem. So I now started applying full force in 2020. So I would
Yeah.
say, I think ending of 2019 through 2020 was when I was actively now applying to every opportunity I see. Like every, hey God. So I started applying and applying, and of course, I was getting rejection. Like I said, I can't even forget one. It's called GLODEP. GLODEP is an Erasmus program. And it was on my birthday. They sent a, well, it wasn't a real rejection, it was um I think it was okay, self-funding. And it's just almost the same thing. It's better you don't give me admission before you say I should come and be funding
Only
myself. I don't have
myself.
that money. That's why I'm applying for this thing. So they gave me that. And of course it wasn't what I was looking for. So it's for to me, it just equated rejection, right? That
Yeah.
I couldn't can't use any I can't use it for anything. So please, so that was it. Then until 2022, in fact, I was saying, so ending of 2021 was when I got a positive, fully funded scholarship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was now in 2022 that I moved to Italy. Yeah,
Mm, I
that
see.
was it.
So that's from 2019, 2020. That was when you started all of those process. And then 2022, you eventually got one scholarship. Like you started, that was when the track record began and then you got the progress, began to get scholarships. Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's this whole story. And I see how much one thing I can pick from that is your doggedness, not giving up after the rejection. Of course, we're going to talk about the things that you would have done better and how to properly if you were to go all over again and do that, what would that be? We would go over that. But for now, I see your doggedness and your perseverance to keep going because you wanted something and you went for it. Before I continue, I would like to say hi, Oriofe Dami. Of course, this video is going to be posted on my page. So once we are done with this, you will always find it later. Hi, Ayobami. Hi, the Global Arik. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Kem Flora. Hi, Susie Neo. Hi, Grababa. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. unlike me, I mean, unlike Rosaline, myself, I just, when I started school back in America, one of my goals was I'm going to finish my academics. My education year is going to be fully funded. That was the mindset I had. But I never took any step about it. And I would make confessions. My 4 year college is going to be fully funded. It's going to be scholarship. And one day I had to sit myself and say, wait, this thing that you are saying, what are you doing exactly? Because even in America generally, there's something called FAFSA. It's called the Financial Aid Assistance, where the government would, if you qualify, you have to do an application. If you qualify for it based on your family income, then you would get a certain amount of your tuition fee paid. For people like some of the people I got into community college with, most of them, they had almost a significant amount of their tuition fee paid. But myself, I didn't even qualify for it. So there was I didn't have anything. I was just like, I say I want scholarship, but where is it? What are you doing? What am I doing exactly? I'm just confessing. Like, it didn't make any sense. And then I decided to, last year, at the beginning of last year, I decided to take it serious that I was going to start applying to scholarships. I did one in December, and I eventually got that, which is within my school. All of the scholarships or funding I've gotten, it's still within my school. I don't necessarily have a lot of experience of applying outside. I currently apply to a lot now, but I've not gotten back from them. So that's why I'm glad I'm having this conversation with someone that has. I have my proof. Sure, that's there, but you also have more, which is robust. It is what we are looking at. That's why I'm so glad I'm having this conversation with you. Now, she has given a brief introduction about herself. I'm going to read a professional biography that she sent to me, bio. So Rosaline is a developmental professional and founder of Beyond Borders, where she equips aspiring and international students to position for scholarships and global opportunities with purpose. A four-time funded scholar, clock it. She's currently enrolled in the SLE postgraduate program in Berlin and a World Leadership Forum Poland delegate. Her work has reached over 6,000 students globally, helping them see opportunities not as an end, but as a launch pad for impact. Now, we're going to start from there. It's I don't know if I should call this a coincidence, but one of the things that helped my applications or my process that placed me properly on the path for applying for scholarship, it's a program called the Launchpad
Mm.
by the Global Temi. And I'm seeing it here that your last statement is, but as a launchpad for impact. And Launchpad literally launched me. So I'm excited that all of this is just coming together. So we're going to start from there, right? The whole reason we are putting this together, we put this together, is for people to know that scholarship doesn't start from your application.
Mm.
Funding doesn't start from your application. There is a
Yeah.
way, once you have that mindset sorted, like once you have that clarified, that scholarship doesn't start from where it started from, it's going to help you now properly put yourself together on how to do this. Because one thing I have learned when it comes to applying for scholarship is, if you are not starting from the right place, if you're not starting from the right place, your desperation will smell. That not come out right, but your desperation would be clear. They would be able to see that, um I know you want money, that's why we're asking you to apply for this. But the words you use, how you apply, the things you put forward would show that it will distinguish you from someone that actually needs it to someone that needs it. We're not saying you don't need scholarship, we're not saying you don't need the money, but we're saying where you start from defines the trajectory of every single application that you make. So, Rosine, I'm going to ask you, our first question is, when people hear scholarship or positioning for scholarships, many assume it starts with application or essays, just like I mentioned. But from your experience, where does real positioning actually begin? Where does it start from? And where is the wrong place people would most likely start from? So where should scholarship application and funding, where should it start from? And why do most people start from the wrong place?
Okay. Nice one. Thank you so much. Okay, so Um, to better tackle it, so we take it layer by layer. So presently, when people hear positioning for scholarship, they just may think that when, for instance, right now, I think the Ireland government scholarship is on. So they just think naturally that I am just within the deadline, just to open the portal and fill in the application, submit the document that they required, and just
Mhm.
hit submit and just wait for their feedback. So that's what many people will assume as feedback. And when they now also maybe get a rejection from one, they just if the person is like dogged like me, that I said, okay, I just continue applying for another one. The next best thing they do is to say, okay, maybe this one is not for me, right? And then
Mhm.
the next one open, and they continue the cycle, always like that. And just waiting for the application to open so they can fix their whole life into a 500, some will say 1 page or 500 words or 200 character, 1000 character, depending on which scholarship it sees. So they want to fix all their life story into that kind of stuff. But that is the wrong way to actually position for scholarship or opportunities, anything at all. And just to mention, it's not even only about scholarship, because when she was reading my bio, you see the World Leadership Forum. It's also about conferences. So that one will be happening next month in Poland. And it was just last week that I got that, okay, I'm being partially funded to it. So the only thing I just have to do is pay for my transport there. The feeding, what's it called? The accommodation, everything is also being funded for. So it's
Oh,
not only about scholarship, it's just also about all this side as well. But how do we now say we are positioning the way we are supposed to be positioned is that um, you actually have to, there are a lot of things to do. There is the gap analysis, there is the daily living, daily preparation, daily activity that you have to start living towards that thing. And it starts with the mindset as well. So you first of all seeing, before we even get to, oh, you are writing your application and everything, what do you really want? What exactly is that thing you are looking forward to? So, for instance, oh, this is I want to study. Maybe I might be partial with Europe, right? Because I've studied in Europe, and yeah. So maybe it is Europe you want to focus on, or even if it is Canada, US, or UK. Which program actually supports you, that gives you the best for you to thrive, especially in your given field? And then you might just have to look for, okay, how what do they really need in this scholarship? For instance, Chibney prioritizes work experience. Erasmus does not prioritize work experience. If you graduate this year, you can apply for it. What do they really want? If you now know what they want, that's when you start preparing. Okay, these are things I have that I know they need, right? And these are those ones I don't have right now to improve my portfolio, right? So that I am able to appear before them. Because she said something that I really love when she was introducing this question about the fact that whatever you write, it will surely show. Your mindset will show there, and you have to now start writing as someone um that is worth investing in. So one of the mindset shift is first of all to know that scholarship is not free money. So when we are talking about scholarship is not really free money. Funding is not like they just free. It's a free money. Like I used to explain, if I'm on a strategy call with anyone, any aspiring international student, I'll be like, this money you are looking for, it's not like it is free. They just don't know what to do with money. That's why they are giving it away like that. No, it also has a goal, and your own objective is to make sure that their goal, your own objective and their goal actually matches. And the way you have to do that is to first of all start believing that you yourself, you are worth investing in. And you know something about an investor, even you know that if you want to invest your money now, you'll be looking, okay, which one will actually give me the best ROI on my investment, right?
Mhm.
So those people also, the scholarship board, the admission committee, they are looking for the best ROI on their own investment. So that scholarship money, that funding is an investment. I want you to start seeing it as that. And when you see it as that, you are able to say, okay, how can I be the best investment that these people can invest in, such that I'm bringing a lot of ROI, return on investment on their money. And they won't ask you, it's not a loan. They won't ask you to return the money. But it is now in what you do with the opportunity that stand as a return on investment for them. And that's why in the bio you see that it is always a launch pad to impact.
Impact.
So it doesn't end on you just getting that scholarship. It's supposed to be a means to an end. So yeah, I think I should stop there.
Mm. I'm currently taking notes myself because I am not going to let this pass me by. But that's a very great, everything you talked about right now, it's very, very important to know. And from what I hear you say, I see one way I've decided to assimilate it myself is I see scholarship as a two-way thing. There is the funder, there is the person bringing the money, and then there is this person receiving the money. If I want to buy an iPhone, or if I want to buy a phone, I know that whatever it is I'm going to invest my money in, I know that I'm going to get it has to be something that gets the best for me because I have saved this money up until this moment. I'm not ready to just spend it on anything. And it's the same way with scholarship. It's the same way with scholarship where the person is not about to give away free money. They want to see who has everything that I want, like that aligns. Because everybody bringing money for scholarship, they have a goal. They have a goal, just like you have a goal to become probably the best in your professional line. They are looking to invest into someone that is good, that has that direction, that wants to become the best in professional line. Once you come here with I can get this money, I'm worth the investment, then how every other thing would shape how your application goes because I'm worth the investment. Every other thing would now come together. How I position myself, the words I use to describe myself, how I think I bring something to the table. It comes all comes together. Then there's another thing I wanted to mention that okay, I can't remember what I wanted to say. The investments, the thank you, Spirit. So what I wanted to say is when you know what you're looking for, she already mentioned you have to know what you're looking for and then you go for it. You go in that line in how it should be done. And the beautiful part of these things is they also help build yourself. So you mentioned about Chevening scholarship, how that they prioritize work experience. If you know that you want to apply for a Chevening scholarship, you know that you have to get the work experience because you want to get that scholarship. But at the same time, in the process, you're also growing because the scholarship is there to like this. The scholarship requires that you've grown up to this certain point before you do it. And it's one thing I would always emphasize for students is there are so many there are so many things you are missing out by not going outside of the wall of your classroom to explore your academics and education experience because these scholarship people they want to invest into people that have that same vision and they have that same a trajectory that shows that this person knows where they are going to and that trajectory also helps your life. So thank you so much for mentioning that those points that you mentioned. Know that you are worth the investment. Know that the team is looking for the person with that they can get the best ROI on return on investment, and then you position yourself as someone in that regard. Thank you. So the next question is, what is the biggest misconception people have about scholarship and funding? And how does that mindset quietly disqualify them even before they apply?
Mm, interesting. That's huge. But I think the number one would be that one of the major misconception would be that, oh, scholarship is a reward for past grades. You know, whether it's by assumption or by precedent, people be like, oh, it is solely about the grade I graduated with. Why that is not entirely wrong. It is still it disqualifies some people that don't have, the big, very good grade in quotes, and then you start doubting that, oh, can I even apply at all, right? So if that misconception about, oh, it is just for first class, for instance, that they award scholarship, but that is not entirely true, right? There are people with third class that has full funded scholarship
Mm.
doing PhD. On my YouTube channel. I invited one that is currently doing his PhD in Italy, fully funded for, and he graduated in with third class. There's a lady as well, the same thing, and there are also people who graduated first class that are fully funded, with whether it's Erasmus and that, and there's people who has 2-1 as well that are funded. So when you now have that misconception that, oh, scholarship rewards past grade, it disqualifies some people, right? Especially good past grade. And that does not mean that people who has less does cannot apply. It just means that their path is not the same, and how they will get it, differs. So the amount of work they have to do differs. And I am also happy to announce to people like this that, there are different things that scholarship are also looking forward to.
Yeah.
There are some that prioritizes, of course, academic excellence, because some will
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, you have to have this a cap in your grades, and
Great.
some will say, okay, you also, but that's not the only thing. It can contribute a quota. Maybe they are looking at education excellence or academic excellence as
Mm-hmm.
contributing 30%, 45, 50, depending on which scholarship we are talking about. And they are
Mm-hmm.
saying, okay, leadership experience. And leadership experience does not even mean work experience. Leadership experience might be from volunteering, from different
Mm-hmm.
things. And that will bring me back to maybe something I could have add to the first question on, it has to be daily becoming someone really worth investing in,
Mm.
because we have now, I don't want to be saying scholarship. So because sometimes our brain has identified scholarship with free money in that sense, right? But if I say it, I put it like an investment in you, so you becoming daily, consciously now picking what are some of these things. So if you, for instance, oh, I graduated with 2-1, and maybe what I'm eyeing, a scholarship I want to apply for, also have um, also have um, pay premium on maybe um, leadership experience. So how do I get this thing? So and that's why for me, if I'm actually talking with anyone looking to apply for scholarship and I look at their portfolio, which is like CV or whatever they have online, so how do we upgrade it to something that is worth someone that can apply for this kind of scholarship? So these are some of these things, but that misconception about, oh, it is only for this set of people, or
Mm-hmm.
automatically disqualifies some people that they are even like, can I even apply? And when you are having that kind of mindset, you won't even submit an application, right?
Yeah.
Because you've disqualified yourself. Whether
True.
they will pick you or they will not pick you, you are not even giving yourself that chance at
Yeah.
all. So yeah, that's one misconception that disqualifies people, when they are just like, okay, this it's just for this kind of people and not for this kind of
Mm.
like me. And I think if I can just add to it, it's also just looking at a a scholarship call and just deciding at that point, without doing anything, that, oh, I'm not qualified. You're just disqualifying yourself just at the point of reading uh, the call, the guide, the
Mm-hmm.
requirements. But you haven't even probed to see, okay, can I do it like this? Can I do it like this, to see if if I can just put it in, right? Maybe I can still get chance to talk about this latest scholarship that I'm currently on. If I talk about it, I'm the only Nigerian in my cohort right now. And in the call for the scholarship, it's really 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 intense. It's a very intense. Even after after the interview, you still have to write an article. After the article, there's still one-on-one interview. So it's not like even the normal one, because it is not masters, it is a bit higher postgraduate, right? And in the call, in the requirement, they asked for more than one languages, because of course, like you read in my bio, I'm in the field of international development cooperation. So one of those things is you should be able to speak more than one language. But here am I'm learning Italian, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
stayed in Italy for a bit. I was in Greece for one semester. I learned Greek just a bit. I can't even speak so much of it. I'm not fluent in it, right? And if I was just like, they required another language and I don't have. So, and when we're talking about one language, I'm not talking about A1, A2. We're talking about maybe B2, C1, like normal proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
I could have just disqualified myself that I don't have that language, right? And
Mm.
then I wouldn't submit. But I don't know. I'm not the one that would give it, right? So I would have disqualified myself and not just even put an application in. But it doesn't work like that. And that's one of those things I keep telling people. Right now, I'm in this court, and if you see the caliber of people that speak five languages, three languages, four. There's someone speaking six languages, for goodness
Wow.
sake. Yes. So, but it's not about that. It's really not about that. You shouldn't just disqualify yourself because of something. Just put it in. And of course, like it's not also something that can work in isolation. It has to work with what we've talked about before. That mindset, and you daily becoming someone that is worth investing in. Yes. So thank you.
Mm. Thank you so much for that expose. And from what you said, two key summaries I'm taking is you should know that scholarship is not a reward for past grade, and daily work on becoming a person worth investing in.
Mm,
Daily work on becoming a person that is worth investing in. One thing I love about, I mean, from the little that I have gotten to know about scholarship is how scholarships, there are a lot of scholarship that accommodates everybody. It accommodates every single person. Every single person. Fine, there are some that exclusively say that they want your grade to be at a certain level. But even with that, the only time they would have those type of that it's only your grade that is the qualifying factor. Like that's the only thing. I think that would majorly be within your school campus. Based on what I know, it's probably be within your school campus, but every other thing they would want something else because now you can have the grade, but you don't have every other thing outside. You don't have the volunteering experience. You don't have the active engagement in your community. You don't have all of those things. It's it's it reduces your chances, right? So grades are great. I would always advocate for getting good grades in your classes and in your course, but at the same time, that's not where it ends. You have to look at every other thing, and there's scholarships out there that accommodate you. You just
yeah.
have to find them. There are fundings out there that will accommodate you. You just have to find them.
Yeah, yeah. To just add a bit before you go into the next one. So there
Hmm.
is the merit-based scholarship, and those are
Yeah,
the excellence one. And there is also the need-based
yeah.
scholarship. So those are the one you prove that, oh, I don't have this money, that's what I'm applying. And that's where you can now say, oh, I'm from this agrarian, whatever, whatever. I am this and that. But many people mixed it when they are now sounding needy for a
Hmm.
merit-based scholarship, because majority
Mm,
of what we have outside right now is mostly merit-based. But when you are now mixing both of them together, that's where the problem started. And of course, that's one of the mistakes I made during my time. Oh, I'm from a rural place, as if being And you will smell this desperation that, see, I'm needy. I just come and give me this money, right? So I can travel. So those are some of those things that someone has to really pay attention to. There's difference, and like you said, so if it is a need-based scholarship, of course, you just have to prove that you don't have this money, right? And they will give it to you.
Okay, thank you so much. When you mentioned that thing, I remembered my first draft that I wrote for a scholarship, and I gave it to the global team to help me review it. She saw it and she said, "I know you want the money, but you're sounding so desperate." That's not how she said it, but along that line, like they don't want to see you. They don't want to see misery. They don't want to see misery. They want to see that you prove yourself that I am worth all of this. Even if misery, even if they require in quote misery in the application, there is a way you have to. There is something they want to see. That's why they're asking you for whatever it is. So they will ask like, okay, what challenges have you faced, and how they want to see how
Ow!
you what's
Ow!
the word? How you rose above it, and what it
Exactly.
taught
Your
you.
ingenuity, your resilience, your
Yeah,
brilliance, your tenacity, your grit.
exactly.
Those are something they want to see in those kind of questions.
Yeah,
But,
because
but we tend to now use more than half, three-quarter of the word allocation for that section to paint our I don't have this is because of this. No, that's not what that question means. So I get it.
okay, before we go quickly to the next question, I want you to properly distinguish and differentiate between a need based scholarship and a merit based. Just in few words, need based and merit based.
Yeah.
What are the
Yeah.
difference?
Like the name denotes or connotes, it is just need based is need based. It's targeted to equality or towards bridging inequality, that okay, the rich and the poor. So for example, in Italy there's something called that they do on regional scholarship. So it is towards people that doesn't have a threshold of income or family
Mm-hmm.
income. So your family income is not up to this amount. Yes, you can actually um you can apply for this scholarship, and the only thing you need to prove in that application is that your family income is within that range and you
Yeah.
will get it. You see, so that is need based. But the merit based is a lot of this, a lot of it's more popular, and it's more not like more popular, but right now the number is really much, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you are talking about Erasmus, Fulbright, Chimney, Commonwealth, Poland, now I in Poland, different kinds, different ones. Also, there's these ones in US and Canada as well. There are a lot of them, a lot of them. There is the Ireland government scholarship, different school as well having one. And what does that mean? Merit, as it says, is merit. It's about your academic prowess and excellence, coupled with leadership, coupled with maybe work experience, depending on. So some might place more emphasis on one than the other. Some might say, okay, we want leadership experience. Some will say, okay, it is work experience. Some is academic experience. There's one particular plant health Erasmus that it is only first class that can actually apply. You see, so it depends on which one you're applying to and what is their requirement. So that those are the two things, but it's need based, merit based. That's just it. Simple.
Okay. So merit based, no, need based is they usually would cap it at income or a a lack of something. When there's a lack for something, that's when they'll cap it at. And there's this particular scholarship that is very common amongst high school students and community college students in America. It's called the Jack and Cook Scholars Foundation Scholarship. While this scholarship caps it as at a particular family income, total
mm,
family annual income. It also prioritizes your other competencies, your leadership skills, your academic progress. And so
mm,
at the end of the day, I think what merit based and need based have in common is fine, they have their distinguishing factors, but they also have their similarities. So
yeah,
if there's anything I want you to pick at this point before we round off, if there's anything I want everyone to pick, is that you should look beyond just your grades. Please look beyond
mm,
just your grade and look at how you can daily become a person worth investing in. There are different ways that can happen. There are different ways you can invest in yourself. There are different ways you can serve your community. There are different ways you can get involved and just get all of those things done. But just make sure you put in the work. You put in the work to do other things. So need base is usually capped at, it's usually one of the eligibility factor is there's something lacking, or this is the total amount you earn as a family. But merit based, you have to, it's majorly on your competencies. Majorly on your competencies. Okay, now our last question is, and if you have any question at this point, you can put it in the chat. Let me say hello to some people. Hi, love_org. Hi, Zion Fola. Hi, Shanae. Hi, True Diamond Michael. Hi, Jerry Boots. Hi, Abian Siri. Hi, Dr. Kayode. Okay, we're going to get back to the question, which is the last thing. If you have any question at this point, please put them in the chat. We're going to get in the comments. We're going to get to it. So the last question, I'm going to make it two in one so you can make it all together. If someone wants to start positioning for 2026 funding and scholarships today,
mm,
what is one strategic move they should make immediately? Or what is something you want them to do? Why does it matter? And what mindset shifts should they have that will separate them from every other applicant in whatever application they are doing?
mm. Ooh, that's loaded. Oh my God. I hope
Seriously.
we can do justice to it. But yes, the first one, strategic move, what you can start doing in 2026 to really position. Yeah, by
Mhm.
the way, I think she's going to announce a session where we are going to hold people that actually want to now go deep into like I really want to move from the realm of dreaming or hoping into actually doing, like you said, confessing, praying and everything, and like now acting on those things.
Yeah.
There will still be like a paid version of actually it will now be hand holding. So we delve more into the how of actually doing it. But yes, so it is moving from just talking about the position to actually being positioned, and
Mhm.
some also now applying as well. So but just to start that conversation, if you want to actually make 2026 be that year for you, um where dreams actually come true, what needs to be done, like I said, I've hinted on it before, it's the gap analysis. It's the
Mm.
gap analysis, right? And that would be that, okay, um, what do I want exactly, and how can this thing really be fulfilled? Like, which kind of scholarship am I looking to apply to? Oh, if you are that person that like, okay, I just need admission, I can actually fund myself. Also, that's you just going into self-funding. Another person can be like, okay, I actually also want to apply for scholarship, right? You also know. So which scholarship really will make you to really fulfill what you want? We make you try. We support you better, especially where you are right now. And then the next thing will now be looking at the even whether it is open or not. Me, I always prefer for people I coach, I always like um give them that 6 month timeline before the application even opened. Because then I might just look at their portfolio and like, oh, you need to upgrade this, you need to do this. And I don't always like them rushing into those kind of things that you now need to do to prepare yourself for opportunity.
Mhm.
Because it is better when you are really prepared than you just rushing and you're not even gaining anything from that process. So you now look at the requirement. What do I really have in this requirement? And what do I need to actually do? to move to someone that is ready. You might not be 100% ready, like I was saying in my own case, this in applying for this scholarship, but it's not yours to really decide. It's just it's also now about other things. Now it's you just curating. I have an SOP framework that I used to you know give people to when they want to apply and write their SOP. So there is that place where I call proofs, and this is you just amassing a lot of proofs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have opportunity volunteering here. I got this certification. I have this short course certification. This knowledge. Oh, I'm showing up where I'm supposed to be showing up. I'm gaining all this insight and also really giving value to other different aspect and spaces. And then when you now have all of this together, that is just also one part of this of the game too. The second part is now how do you now make sure that your story, your unique story, is also you're able to bring them out in an application, right? So if they're asking for a motivation letter, maybe on 1,000 characters or 500 words, how are you making sure that it is actually those things that matters about you that you are presenting and not just general thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that is one of those things that to really to really excel in 2026 one has to pay attention to. How do I, so you do the gap analysis and you already know, okay, these are things that I need to improve in my portfolio. Then the next thing is now to break it down into daily actions to say, okay, how do I make sure that all these things before the next scholarship open or admission cycle open, how do I make sure that um, all of them are covered? So, and this is where people now people don't follow through, and that's why needing accountability and a space where you're like, okay, let's and hold you, show you the how is very important, and she'll be telling you more about how to get into that space. So the next question, which is on, I think it's
The
the
mindset
maybe
that
yeah,
separates.
the mindset that separates winners from losers by getting it right is one thing that I will share on that is there are a lot, but let me just share one thing that's very important is this lottery mindset that oh let me just be applying and applying like I was. Don't be like me then. I told you I applied to more than if it is not close to 30 and then it's just a cycle. It's not those 2 years I was talking about every time let me just apply and then you have only one SOP and you are just throwing it everywhere. No, when you are just like a generalist, oh, you see this one, you apply, you see that one, but till you now get to the point um where you really know what you really want, and that's when you can really be focused and you are investing hours into really making sure um your application is really what they want. You are tailoring your application to the objective of that scholarship. One of my friend, I interviewed him. He is an Erasmus plant health scholar. I think the interview is on my YouTube as well. And he was saying that until you start being on that website, on that scholarship website, and it's looking as if, oh, you are preparing for an exam. And what are you looking for? You just want to understand what they are looking for so you can present yourself as that thing they are looking for. And that's it. So it's not being a generalist that you are like, oh, I already have this. And you see, they mentioned something and you're like, oh, let me just meet the deadline. There are some people that are lucky, but those that also now have its own side effect later on. Are you able to maximize the opportunity? Because for me, and that's the reason I even founded the Beyond Brothers Coaching and Consulting. It does all this conversation doesn't end when you submit, right?
Mm.
It's just begin. So when you submit, it's just you don't even at that point you don't even know whether you will receive it or not. You still continue actually doing everything we are saying because you continue to still be positioning. And another way to start positioning is on LinkedIn. If you're not showing up, if you're not visible, one of after you submit, it does not end there. Is you now like, okay, are you really serious about this thing? Do you really mean what you said in your application? Let's see, let's start seeing it. So what you like, I used to say, they are not looking for people that want to use this scholarship to to test to test their potential. They are looking for people that have been making impact and want to use this scholarship to actually scale their impact. Yeah, I don't know whether you get that. So it is just after you now submit, you want to show us that you are really making impact in your own way. So if it is advocacy, are you advocating on LinkedIn? What are you doing? What are you showing up? Are you posting? Are you giving value? Are you sharing about you so that people really see what you are about? Okay, if you are saying you are looking forward to this vision, that you want to actually bring to life, what have you been doing in your own small capacity? How have you been bringing that to life? So people need to see. And one of those things I like to say is also no show, don't tell. Whether it's your CV or your SOP, they are not looking for you just telling them I'm dedicated. What does dedication mean? I am a brilliant. What does it mean? Show us, proof, right? So I think that's one thing. So the mindset is not just being a generalist. It is being someone that is intentional. Intentionality to say, okay, this is what I want and this is what I've been doing. So the key question is if your path in 2023, 2024, 2025 is not directed to where you are going in 2026. There is a question, like it begs for a question. So which means that you are not really sure about what you want to do,
Mm,
right? Of course, I understand that clarity is not a destination; it's a journey. You walk into
mm-hmm,
it, but you should
mm-hmm.
be able to at least draw a line that passes through everything that I think this is a story I'm telling in my journey. Do you get? So I think that's if people are able to do that, it will also help tremendously in the positioning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. When you mentioned show don't tell, I'm like, you're getting into the details of the other aspect of this. But thank you so much. To to summarize what you just said for others that didn't join, I asked what could you start doing to position yourself now, and what mindset do you need to have that will separate you from every other applicant. And what she mentioned is gap analysis. What you can do now is the gap analysis. You have to study what it is that you want, what's your goal, and what program out there steps in for you, what program meets the needs of your goal at this moment. And then you start preparing yourself like you're about to apply for an exam. You study them, you study the program, and you create from their from what they're requiring of you, you create a guideline, and you create a goal and systems that will help you be that person in the description of what is needed for people that should apply. And then the second thing is the mindset that you need to have. You need to move away from the lottery mindset of I will just apply to everything and anyone that works. If you're looking at applying to even when you want to apply to a job, you tweak some certain things in your CV. You tweak it to fit the job. That's the same thing with scholarship. You don't just take one and just pour it everywhere. Make sure it fits the narrative of the application you're going to. And it doesn't one of the key things that stood out for me personally is that it doesn't end after my application. The things that I said in my application, how exactly am I playing it? How does that play out? What am I doing even after my applications? That's a very important thing right there, because you can be like, oh, the application process has finished. Good, let's stop here. But no, that's the journey continues. again, the goal is to make sure that every day you become someone, you invest into yourself to become someone that is worth investing in, and it
Yeah.
also align with this. So thank you so much, Rosalind. I didn't see any question in the comments, but if you do have any question, please do not hesitate to put it in the chat, in the comment section. Now to Rosalind has already hinted at it here and there, but it doesn't end here. It doesn't end here. There are a lot of us here that joined this call because we had something in mind. You want to get funding, you want to get scholarships, but you either don't know how to go about it, you don't know where to find them, you don't know what to do. You need help with everything that we've just mentioned on this call today, and even the nitty gritty that comes to applying for fundings and application. If that's you, don't worry, we've got you covered. we have we have something coming up soon, and it's going to be paid. The details will be shared with you later on, but if you are interested in having a hands-on guide with everything that you're going to be doing when it comes to getting funding and scholarships for your applications in 2026, then I need you to join the waitlist with this link I'm about to put in the chat. Okay. Now my Instagram has messed up again. So I'm going to send you the link, Rosalind, and I will send it to you on WhatsApp. It might mean that you might be frozen for a bit because now I can't see this. What happened at the beginning of the session happened now. God, please. So I'm going to send the link so you can put it in the chat.
Hopefully, I'm able to come back to no problem. Let's see.
Yeah, you'll be able to come back in the name of. I don't know why my Instagram is acting like this because I need it to end properly. Okay. So I just sent you the link. Should take a few minutes.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Yes. I've
Okay.
dropped it in the comment section. Are you back? Can you see yourself?
I can see myself. I can see you. I can see you. I can see the screen. I can see everything, but I can't see the chats. I can't see. It's just weird.
You can't see the chat again.
I can't see the chats.
Interesting. But I think I've dropped it in the chat. And yeah.
I'm hoping that this wouldn't affect me saving this live because the features I can't necessarily see them either, and I can't end this call.
You
Yeah.
can't. How did you, how were you able to see yourself again?
I had to, we had to stop it and start over again.
No, no. The other time I thought you said you couldn't see yourself.
Yeah, so I could see myself, but it's still the same thing that's happening now that happened then. So before I could get it back, I had to close it.
But you can't
But
even close now. Just try.
I,
Just try. Let's
no,
round up.
if I do, yeah, let's just run up because if I do close it like I did earlier, it means I won't be able to save this live, and I don't want that to be the case. But the link is in the chat. Kindly click that and join the wait list. Join the wait list, and we're going to be reaching out to you in the coming weeks. Thank you so much, Rosalind, for doing this with us. Thank you for your gems. Like even me, I took notes. I took my notes because I also had a few things that I learned from you. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I did not see any comment, any question, and even if you did put now, I can't see my chat. So thank you, everyone. The link to join the waitlist will also be shared. It's going to be in my bio, and
Mm.
everyone would
And
have
under the
access.
comment, under the caption of this
Yeah,
video,
yeah, it's going
hopefully
to be
we
on
get
that.
to save it.
I would, by the grace of God, it will happen.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen. So thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the year, and make sure you take something as you end this call like this. Go and look for, what am I going to do now? What do I need to do that is going to make all of these things come together for me, for my funding and for the scholarships I'll be applying to in 2026. Okay, bye
Someone said
everyone.
she's unable to join the wait list. So
Oh,
later, I think the link will be on our bio, and also she will
oh,
collaborate with you in doing.
I think it's because you shared the link and I didn't share the link. Because if I had shared the link, then I should have been able
You'll be able
to,
to.
it should,
Yeah,
I should be able to
because we
click it.
didn't also invite. I get it. No problem. All
But
right.
you see it in my description for the caption for this post, or in, and also in my description, my